Hello from nowhere. My name is Kurt the Gardener, and today I'm going to tell you a few things. But first, I want to tell you this. Come as you are, not to be shackled and oppressed, but to be liberated and freed from what binds you to suffering. Alright, so today I'm going to tell you guys something. Alright, the other day I went and I cut some grass for someone. And I had no idea who this person was whenever I went there. They were a very wonderful person, by the way. Let me get that out of the way. Full disclaimer out of the way. I'm going to tell you something. In my faith, and I want to make this very clear, I never want to tell you what to believe. I never want to impose what I believe upon you. And in return, I ask that you do not impose what you believe upon me. That's called mutual respect. So with that out of the way as well, I'm going to tell you guys something. I went and cut this person's grass and I did it absolutely free, and I'd do it again. In fact, I want to help more people. Alright? This is the point. When I got done, that person, they were talking to me, and it was like I knew I was supposed to be there. I knew it. It had been confirmed. But some of the things they said, it sounded as if I had said them myself through that person. And it made me think. It made me think a little bit. I thought to myself, I said that, we were both Christians. I'm a very spiritual human being. I'm starting to see that spiritualism and Christianity, to a lot of people, they're not compatible. Who am I to tell you what's compatible? I'm a Christian, though, but I'm also very spiritual. People judge me, so be it. I do not care. Back to my point, though, is that I went and cut this person's grass. A wonderful spirit, very good person, said things at the end of it that sound like I would say, and it confirmed that I was where I was supposed to be, 100%. Without even knowing it, I had been exactly where I was supposed to be. And it made me realize something. It made me think about it. Then I realized it. That's the will of God. That's the will of God. You might be saying, well, how does you cutting someone's grass for free and talking to someone for a few minutes, how do you know that's the will of God? I'm going to tell you. The will of God is this. They needed their grass cut, and I was able to do it, and therefore I went and helped them without knowing it. It's the connection. It made me think about consciousness and what it is. And when someone else needs something, if they will pray, if they will ponder about it, if they will even desire it to a point that they absolutely need it, I promise you, this force that most people cannot see, this force called consciousness and energy, and what everyone upon this earth refers to as God, it will find a way. God will find a way to connect us. As dots, we are waiting for God to connect us. So, I wanted to read to you some things I wrote. I have two messages. One is pertaining to that. Instead of making two videos, I'll just combine both messages. One isn't really pertaining to this, but I'll read this to you. I call it Consciousness Simplified. Consciousness is not individualized or on an individual level. The same consciousness that is in you is in everyone else also. Everyone and everything which is conscious is all the same consciousness. Another word for consciousness is energy. Surprise! That's your twist. Energy is universal It is the same in all. There is no separate energy, and therefore there is no separate consciousness. That is why when you are thinking of someone, out of nowhere, they call you or interact with you at some point, or you say the same thing as someone else at the same time. Or maybe you think the same thing as someone else. It goes very deep, this conceptual rabbit hole I have fallen into and found myself. Be kind to one another and be good to each other, but don't beat yourself up when you aren't. Because after all, you are me and I am you at the spiritually energetic level called the soul and consciousness. And now for a creatively written paragraph. I understand your message. I understood your message. I could feel the aggression from here. Even across the internet on social media, your levels of agitation were legendary and epic. The real stuff of legends and epics. You may belittle me and say whatever nasty things you wish to say and desire to say, but let me remind you, my friend, that you are me and I am you, and whatever you say pertaining to me is only being said of you. That's what consciousness is, simplified. I get it. I understand it. I know it. It's beautiful, guys. That consciousness that flows through that plant, the energy in it, it flows through me. The same thing that flows through all the plants I have outside. I'm sorry, I'm trying to block out the glaring sunlight. It's not that bright in here. I don't know why cameras do that. The same energy is in me and you. Creation and manifestation of God. Child of God, children of God. It's so beautiful, guys. I hope that one day everyone realizes and sees it. So, I have another point. A lot of people are talking about nobody wants to work and nobody wants to go to work. And now I get to have an opinion about that. All right? You got to be careful about that word I and me, by the way. They're food for the ego. But that's a different video. Let me read this to you. This is Nobody Wants to Work. There is so much I can say about what I am about to say, but I'm going to try to keep it very simple because I have to say it. That's part of being a loudmouth, right? I just can't shut up. If a job doesn't pay you enough to live in a dignified way, don't get another one. Instead, stand firm for more. If a job can't pay enough to afford shelter, clothes, food, and water, don't do it. If the fast food and retail places collapse because they can't find people willing to go along with that, that's good. We didn't need them anyways. We've grown accustomed to them. That's all that's happened. If someone has to be paid $20, $30, whatever an hour to afford the bare minimum of life, then understand this. It's not a wage issue we need to be discussing. It becomes a question of WTF is going on. Why does it cost that much to live? Should it cost that much to live? When people say minimum wage, understand at this moment in time, they are referring to this: retail, fast food, service/servant wage. Even servants of the past had homes, or a room at least, food, water, and shelter, clothes. Why is it that in America, a country that used to flaunt our ability and capability to elevate one and all to a status and a living condition greater than any king that ever lived upon this earth, is all of a sudden encouraging the emergence of lifestyles that are below that of peasants and serfs? Because once again, even peasants and serfs had shelter, food, water, and clothing. That's why the lifestyle being promoted here is below them. Imagine a world where instead of companies and people talking about how much wealth and material possession they have acquired in life, they talked about how high they raised and escalated everyone else. People want to be great in the eyes of others. Well, let me tell you this. People do not see you as great when you flaunt wealth and how much more you have than they have. You want people to think you're great? Then be what they need, and they'll think you're downright legendary. Those are my thoughts on nobody wants to work for what they're worth to whoever wants to hear them. I'm gonna show you how this though. I would burn this. I would burn a lot of things. Chakra symbols, It's got an M. I'm gonna end on this because some people are probably wondering, why does this plant have a face? Well, that's an M. That stands for Matthew, and that's 3:11. Matthew 3:11. I'm gonna simplify that for you too. Matthew 3:11 is the verse that John the Baptist tells the crowds, if you think I'm legendary, if you think the things I'm doing are the things of epics, if you think the things I am doing are great, well, stick around, because someone even greater than I is on the way. It's a great thing, guys. I want y'all to go outside and don't do anything. And boy, it's hard, especially when you live in like a country where you never are supposed to sit down and relax for a few minutes, and that's the culture. I want you to go outside and make this your act of defiance for 10 minutes a day. And if you want to do it longer, you're welcome to. But an act of defiance in 10 minutes a day is to sit there and do nothing. Try to get where you don't really desire or think about doing anything. Now, I know, thinking is like a stream. All right, it's just happening. Don't think you ever going to stop the thoughts, because you're not. Instead, do this. Just observe them. Let go of the attachment. Don't be attached. Oh, I really should be moving around. Look at that leaf over there. I need to pick that leaf up. Look, there's garbage over there. Don't do that. Just let those go. And sit in your act of defiance for 10 minutes a day where you do nothing. Stay focused on the present moment, not on what's inside your mind. Have a great day.